22nd of January, Monday. -1 Celsius, sunny, calm.
János Tolnai.
15 years old. District 12.
Kis János Altábor Nagy Street.
An old man who had been sick for a long time passed away in the house. We were 3 guys digging a grave in the empty lot next to the house. We had to duck under the gate a bunch of times because of all the bombs falling. Lately, the bombs have been coming down pretty thick and fast. The cellar is the only safe place. Our house has been hit by at least 50 bombs. But it's no surprise, since every bigger house gets hit about that many. Thank God we've made it this far. The water shortage is so severe that we're boiling snow for water and eating it. You can get water from the third neighbor's house, but you have to stand in line for 2 to 3 hours, and it's dangerous to go there because of the shelling. Several people have already been hit by shrapnel while getting water. We'd rather be thirsty than risk someone getting hurt. And there's no medicine to treat anything. Thirst drove me to check out the drinking water site. It's true that I had to take cover several times, running from the street into the ground floor of the house, but in the end I managed to get a can full of water without getting any shrapnel. On a bench on the street, a young boy lay on his back, his hands outstretched to the sky. His eyes stared into nothingness. He was dead. I shuddered at the sight. I quickly left the scene of death. On my way home, I looked into the Ugocsa cinema. Its door was open, invitingly beckoning me. A skinny little foal wandered out of the room beside me, its head bowed, motherless. 3 skeletal goats stood silently on the straw-strewn floor of the cinema, waiting for their end. I couldn't predict a long life for them, even if there were no executioners on the horizon. The cinema had become a stable, and, from the stable, a deathbed. With great sorrow, I left the poor animals. I wasn't far from home when I was surrounded by the sound of huge explosions. The Russian artillery and mortars had begun their usual racket. Shrapnel from the shells was flying around at the end of the street.
Juhász Eszter, 22 years old. District 11. Orlery Street 4.
Ivan and his team started work again today. The morning was chaotic, more so than it had been in a long time. The weather was beautiful. I would have much preferred to be flying around as I did a couple of years ago at the flying club, rather than watching from the ground where the Russians' gifts were landing. We almost got hit by a bomb. It fell in the neighbour's garden, about 10 metres from us. You don't want to hear about what the apartment looked like afterward. Mud, shrapnel everywhere, even tearing through the blinds. The yard was full of bricks and debris. We thought our house had taken a direct hit, only then did we realise it had landed very close. The air pressure had thrown bricks through our 3-storey building and into the yard. Istvan and Karoy were shaving in the bathroom, and they were incredibly lucky again. They didn't even get a scratch. Grandma says the house looks terrible, but she only says that because she hasn't seen the rest of the city. She should be glad it only looks like this. We bought 1,500 cigarettes from a soldier, so we're set for a while. In the evening, the wounded German came down again, and we talked about all sorts of things. He's not a fan of Nazism, but he doesn't exactly adore the Jews either. He wants a middle ground, a place of peace. He says that in Germany too, there are many who don't suffer from the war and manage to get by. When Goebbels gave his speech about a year and a half ago, and the people enthusiastically supported the continuation of the war until the final victory, those people were the ones who were well off, and not one of them was a mother whose son had been fighting for years, or perhaps had already fallen, because they were all aware that there was no hope of victory from this war. In the evening, the Junkers came again, and 3 parachute packages landed in the college garden. The whole house was standing in the yard, and they were more excited than when bombs were falling. The soldiers immediately fired 3 red flares, signalling that their shipment had landed in the right place, but they weren't allowed to open it until they received higher orders. The spectators, of course, expected chocolate and other food from the bomb-shaped containers, but they were naturally filled with hand grenades and other essential items. I think the chocolate would have been much more useful. It would have somewhat alleviated the soldiers' hunger, but even that isn't good for much.
Lux Gyula.
60 years old college teacher. District 12.
We've had 2 more terrible days. Our house has been directly hit more than 10 times. Yesterday, a mine shattered the rafters of the small attic and the dishes I'd placed there to catch water. A lot of our things were riddled with bullet holes, pictures, clothes, etc. The cannons and machine guns roared all day. It was life-threatening to go up to the kitchen. But I had to go up for some things. But the mines just kept exploding around the house, so I rushed back to the cellar. The terrible explosions really took a toll on our nerves, especially the women suffered a lot.